when I'm looking at the landscape of whether it's politics or social media, popular influencers, it's almost just reality TV, made for TV, fake drama. The whole fighting between was supposedly the leaders of the America First movement, Nick Fuentes and Dan Kazarian, fighting. It's like, can I take any of these people serious? Are they just, orchestrating fake drama to get views and clicks so they don't have to come out here like the rest of us and work real jobs, so they keep staying somewhat relevant? Well, it's not somewhat, they are relevant. And it's just, I look at these people as they're all a bunch of phonies that get promoted. Social media, like when MySpace came about, it was innovative. At that time, MySpace and Facebook were competing, and I looked at Facebook and I was like, this is kind of weak. I was seeing a woman at that time, my transition into Facebook out of MySpace, and she kind of got me into the Facebook thing, and this was around 2008. And when I created this channel, it was about 2009. And YouTube used to be really, really awesome. I look at it now, and I really don't use it that often. The reason why I use this more than Rumble is so I can just make long-winded videos without having to stop every 10 minutes, because it loads better with 10-minute videos on Rumble from my phone. I'm not somebody like these people who I'm relevant, so I don't need to really spend a lot of extra energy going through this process, going through that process. I work a real job, you know what I mean? I work a 40-hour-a-week job. Most of these people who you see on your phone screens on Twitter or Instagram, these popular people, YouTube, TikTok, they wouldn't be able to handle my job. So that makes me better than them. I am better than them. I am better than you. Because I can make content as well. I might not be the smartest one. I might not be able to be the most charismatic person. When it comes to grit and determination, I've had this channel since 2009. I didn't really start taking it serious until about 2016-ish, something around there. And I'm like, I didn't really care about YouTube before then. I took content in. But these days, I really don't take content in from YouTube like I used to. And these days, it's fake stuff that gets promoted. I just seen something on Twitter pull up on my news feed, and it was somebody on TikTok made a video of themselves, kind of like a cutout. You go on my TikTok and you can see one of my pinned videos is called Fatigue. The Fatigue or whatever. It's at the top. It's kind of like that type of thing where you got the background. And it was about this music star back in the 90s, Natalie Imbruglia. If I ever said her name right, doesn't really matter. And below that, it showed like this woman that looked like she was a drug fiend. So what it does is it makes it look like that's what she's become when in fact it isn't. I looked it up because I wanted to see like what she that's not her. But they want to put that out there, so it's like, oh, look at. I've seen another one where somebody took LeBron James, which I don't like to defend this person, um, but he's been an outstanding citizen. I don't trust him, and I don't agree with his political takes, but he has been a civil citizen. Um, he hasn't really been in trouble. You haven't really heard anything really negative about him besides anything that comes out of his mouth that's controversial. But basically, they took this, like, all you had to do was watch the video and see that the person who commented, like, they posted the video and they commented, they made it sound like he is staying away from white people. Which in the video, he's saying that, but he was talking about when he was a 14-year-old boy going to predominantly maybe all-white high school. And he said, basically, he was talking about he didn't trust. And he went into there like, I'm not going to make friends with anybody. I'm not going to befriend anybody. And it's stuff like that. And it's, can we stop lying? Can we just tell the truth, please? I shouldn't have to investigate every little thing I see. I should feel like, okay, these people are trying to be honest. They're breaking. Oh, that's crazy. No way. And then it's like, turns out to be a lie. And this day and age, since AI is getting really, really, really good with, and they call it, AI slop or whatever, but it's getting really, really well, like really, really on point. It's hard to decipher real videos from the fake videos. I mean, you can see somewhat glitches, but you have to look really, really hard. And people act like you watch it one time and they're like, you're so stupid. I'm not really trying that hard to analyze it. There's so much that pops up. There's so much information. There's so much that happened. It's kind of like I kind of glanced at it for a second and I move on. I don't look at... Not everything that pops up is like 100% interesting. It's like maybe somewhat and I move on. And it's like people act like on the internet, and they could just be bots, it is a very real thing that at least half of or more of the so-called people we think that we're seeing on the internet are bots. But people act like you're so dumb because you make a mistake. It's like, okay, I make a mistake. You made no mistakes in your life? Oh, you're a dumb boomer because you didn't. Like, how long can we keep this up when AI gets to be so good you won't be able to tell the difference? And there's going to be like so many fakes. Everything is pretty much going to be a fake. Oh, we can't tell the difference between reality or fiction. That line is, there's no line anymore. What do we do? I look at our government, I look at our politicians, and this year for me has been a year of people falling off their pedestal that I held up. Trump was a big one. Somebody else in my personal life was a big one. Didn't expect what's happening out of Trump right now, and I didn't expect what happened out of that person who's no longer in my life. It was almost like boom, boom, like two haymakers. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever seen. There was this boxing match, and it's just like this guy got hit by like 2 or 3 haymakers, and he was like knocked out after the first one, but the guy connected a couple extra times. It kind of was like that for me. I felt blindsided. And when I made a video talking about the social engineering of my workplace, trying to get people to be at least neutral towards me, just look at me as at least a background person instead of like focusing in on me. I'm a piece of furniture. That's all I want to be. That's what I was trying to get across with that. I just want to be a piece of the furniture. I just want to be the background person, you know. Anyway, you look at our government, and you know, I was trying to support the Republicans, and I was for like 10 years. You can look at all my videos in the past. And now that I'm sitting here criticizing MAGA, I'm sitting here criticizing Trump. I don't think about Trump every day like these people on the left. I'm not some deranged leftist. I didn't think about Joe Biden every single day when I was against him. And I look at both sides and I'm like, they are both horrible. They're horrible people. I'm not voting. I'm staying out of it. First off, I don't think my vote really matters that much. And I put so much, I put so much of myself into the game to come out, like not the Toy Story, but the Christmas Story movie, when Ralphie figures out, the Ovaltine scene. I mean, I kind of knew it, but I was holding out hope. Like, this is it. Trump is the last beacon of hope. And now, I have no beacon of hope, so I'm more radical right. It doesn't mean I'm always going to be. I'm a pragmatic person. I do care about other people. I do have empathy for other people. But when your ship is barely surviving, it's hard to take on other people. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't, these rich people, these people who have all the empathy in the world on the left, and they want to help out everybody in the world, and they want to bring everyone here, and I think it to myself. So you're all talking about the climate change, and you want to bring more people onto the system to create more of climate problems. It's not going to... We keep flooding these people into our first world country, and they weren't using air conditioning and all this other stuff and the infrastructure, but now they are requiring more of our energy, more output. This doesn't make sense. And then you got the people on the right supporting this one country, and then we're told that it's because these people are the chosen ones because of Israel, because the Bible says you got to support. Well, okay, but just because the people who occupy Israel now doesn't mean God is aligned with them, if that's what they believe. Christians, I think, are duped. I think Christians, like, I like Christians. I've defended Christians. I think I look at Christianity, I'm like, this, even though I believe some elements, I believe a lot of elements, but I'm not on board. I'm going to end up, going to hell when I pass on. According to them, I don't have a good relationship with the Creator. I'm skeptical, very skeptical of things. I question things. I definitely think that there's some type of creation that created this. I don't think that we just happened out of sheer dumb luck. The probability of all this just forming exactly perfectly? You know, why don't we have like eyes that are like this, or like two noses? I don't. It's just, and I could be wrong. But I look at Christians and I'm like, dude, you guys are being duped by these people who say that they're the chosen ones. And yeah, the Bible says they're the chosen ones when Moses was alive. Back in, thousands of years ago. But if you read the Bible, and it makes me wonder if these people even read the Bible, God has committed genocide against these people. Like, the correct term isn't genocide. Okay, God has committed mass killings on these people repeatedly because they have chosen to, in the Bible, I'm referring to, they have chosen to reject God. So he cursed them multiple times with mass killings of them. Happened multiple times. And it's like, how can you sit here and say, I'm a follower of Christ, while these same people reject your Christ, and you think they're going to go to heaven? You think that God's still looking at them like they're the chosen ones? And I'm thinking here with my head, connecting dots and thinking deeply into things, and like thinking to myself, wait, I thought the only chosen ones were the ones who follow Christ. Well, there are some of them that are, they're called Messianic Christians, because, they are, it's a weird thing, to be like a race of people and have a religion on top of it. It just seems so orchestrated and intentional. And then I look at things like, I'm studying World War II, and I'm studying like the National Socialist Party, just studying. And you can't get Hitler's book. Oh, it's propaganda, but we have propaganda here as well. And I'm thinking to myself, like, and I'm not trying to sit here and say what Hitler did to the Jews, and not just the Jews. There was plenty of Christians that got killed as well. What we did, I had a little bit of a debate with AI on this, and I said, well, we would have done the same thing to Japan if they didn't surrender. We would have kept nuking them, and in fact, I think that AI told me we were ready to launch another one on them. And we would have made it so they don't exist anymore if we had to. So, and I know they attacked us first, but it's like perception. It's just perception. And I look at what Hitler did, and I'm like, dude, you didn't even really do anything. Like, you guys, okay, this is what we're told is they killed 6 million Jews. That's what the Nazis did. And I think that it was really, really horrible. It's just like you're just regular people that have no influence. They like, you're just killing just regular citizens that like, you look like a bully. You are a bully. And I totally, like, if he went after the elites that actually had, this where I'm like, and I'm looking at who owns OnlyFans, who owns Facebook, who owns a lot of these. Listen, man, who was, like, why do we keep going to war for this one little country that has, like, how does that benefit us here back at home? And it's just, we spent all this money, this time, all this American blood for what? For what? We have become weaker. This whole debacle with Iran, it's like whatever Joe Biden did with leaving Afghanistan. I made a song with Let's Go Brandon. I talked about the 13 soldiers' blood is on his hands. Well, the 18, I think it's 18, is on Trump's hands. And yeah, in that song I was saying Joe Biden's made us look weak on the world stage. Well, so has Trump. I'm looking at the algorithms and it's the same old, same old. I'm suppressed. I'm suppressed. It's fine. Like, I understand, whatever. Like, something I'm trying to do is, it's hard to not care about the outcome. So it is hard to work for something to not care at the same time about how things turn out. You know how hard that is? And I think that's what, life is teaching me. It's kind of like, it doesn't really matter. It's all absurd anyway. I'm going to end up like that song I was listening to at work. Dust in the wind one day. We're all just dust in the wind. Everything that I've created is going to be forgotten about or destroyed. I can spend a good chunk of my time creating a hot rod, recreating a hot rod, rebuilding a hot rod. Well, it holds value now, but it doesn't mean it's going to hold value in 100 years. It could, if it's properly maintained and taken care of, but if it's not, everything I do at work is going to eventually be destroyed. And it's kind of like, what's the point? You swing back and forth from boredom to pain. You get bored, you're like, okay, I gotta do something painful, just like Arthur Schopenhauer. And then I look at this world, and it feels like my will is way weaker than everybody else's. And I'm like, man, I don't know if anybody else can relate, because I'm not trying to be a victim, but it does feel like, whether it's spiritual, that I am, it's just like little things to aggravate me for no reason, to try to keep me at a low vibration, to hurt my confidence. That's a big thing. You know how hard it is to keep your confidence up? How many times I'm knocked down. I have to dust myself off again and regain my confidence just to have it happen again. And then I have this stuff when I go on social media where people just seems like, you guys are so spoiled. You guys are so spoiled. Like, how am I, like, how is this happening to me? But like, you deserve it, but it's not happening to you. The Epstein files. Like, what? It's laughable. It makes you kind of laugh. It makes you feel like the Joker. It makes you feel like that. Like, good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I look at YouTube. I really don't use it that much anymore. I've been through bouts of silence. I look at Facebook, completely unusable. It's like, when is it going to stop being about money? You know, it's so old. You hear, oh, this, we're going to go into an age of abundance. We're going to be into the golden age. And it's just the same. Nothing happens. It's just like a steady... Dude, and I am a grateful person. I'm grateful I have lights on. I'm grateful that I have AC. I'm grateful that I have running water. I'm grateful that I have a place I can go to be able to make resources. It's not a lot. I work really hard for them, but I'm grateful for that. At times I'm not, because you get frustrated. You're not going to sit here and when you're used to having something and just always being like, like if you're in a desert and you haven't had any water, or you're stranded at sea for like 3 days and you haven't had any real water, and then you just take that, go, drink. You haven't had food for a while. You savor it. Oh, nobody is like that, because if you're used to having something, doesn't mean you're not grateful. You just get used to it. Yeah. This country, like where we're at, it should be so much better right now. It really should. It really should. It doesn't have to be like this. And it makes me wonder, like, is it the algorithm that's pushing this to me? Like negativity? And that's what it could be too, you know? Somewhat as comparing my life to other people's. But it does feel, when, you know, being a lower class, like it did. Can I catch a break? It would be nice to be able to just not have to really worry about finances. Can we all agree with that for right now? Wouldn't it be cool to just not have to worry about finances? To not have to worry about, you know, kind of being like our government, and just, they don't care. Wouldn't that be cool in your own personal life, just to not have to balance your budget like they don't? To not be accountable to anything? You see these videos of people like, this is happening. When's somebody actually going to do something? It's like, why don't you do something? What are you talking about? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? You know, well, the last video I made talking about, you know, basically gaming the system. You know, hey, listen, man. There's so much competition for women who are 18 to 50 years old. There's so much competition. It's like swimming against the current. You're out in sea and you're trying to get back to the shore, but you have to swim. You try to swim straight, and you're going to get pushed back out farther. So you kind of go along the shore. That's what it's like. And people will see that, be like, oh, you're weird, you're disgusting, which is fine. You could say that. Go ahead. But at some point, it's like, I'm tired. I want to do something different. I can't do this. It is demoralizing going on TikTok. And then maybe that's part of the problem. Well, what else am I going to do? just read books. I get tired of reading. I'm not gonna sit here and read books all day. Even the smartest people like Jordan Peterson, like, what are you gonna read? Like all your free time, you're just gonna read books. Just seeing like these women, and not all of them, there's some attractive ones, but just seeing that like these women, some of them are older than me, looking at them and being like, okay, I'm like a 5'4", 4.5, 5. I try to be realistic. Maybe I could be a little bit higher. Maybe I could be a little bit lower. And to see them and they're just like a 2, and I sit there for a second listening to what they're trying, like why guys are listening to them. You know, what are they talking about that's so interesting? And they're not interesting. They're not interesting at all. And guys are like, oh, and it's like, dude, come on, man, really? I get the ones that are like 8, 9s, and 10s, but come on, this is like a 4, and you guys are acting like, dude, come on. Do you not have any self-respect? And you shouldn't be doing that for 9s and 10s either. But like I said, if them, you get it. I get it. I understand. But it's like, come on, man. You probably wouldn't even want to be seen with that in public. And you're on the internet saying like she's acting like she's a 10. It's like, come on. And you wonder why women's standards are so high. We're the problem. And I've seen this a long time ago. Back in 2016, I was on Facebook and I was partaking in that back then. Oh, you're beautiful in the comments. Back then it wasn't like it was now. You know what I mean? And I started thinking to myself, she's doing this. She posts a meme, she posts a selfie because she's trying to get attention. And that's when I, stopped going that route. And to see guys still doing this to this day is just, come on, man. Can you guys wake up, please? Because I guarantee you, these women that are on live on TikTok, it could be YouTube or whatever platform, Instagram, if they were getting 0 views, if they were getting 0 likes, they wouldn't be on there no more. It's quite ridiculous. It really is. It's like I said in my last video, there's more men than there is women. It's so weird too. Like, so I'm used to not getting any type of validation at any part of my life. I'm used to that at this point. I really, like I said before, I only really trust my own validation. Unless it's somebody close to me, like my kids or something. But where was I going with that? I'm so used to negativity, or like this is what it's like to be a man, which women are. What's frustrating is these women want to be like us. They're always invading our spaces. They're not doing anything themselves, creating themselves. They want to get into our spaces always. But like, nobody cares about the men's struggle. nobody cares. Like, you're going to work, and it's not like I need, hey, you're a pat on the back. And in fact, like, if hypothetically, because I've been doing good at work, and the next meeting I get some type of recognition, I'm gonna feel weird about it. It's almost like getting some type of present. I feel weird about it. I know I'm doing good. But to hear the constant negativity too, it really feels like AI is in charge and is trying to get rid of us. It's trying to demoralize us. That's what it feels like. Trying to get rid of us for lesser men. And part of me is kind of like, hey, listen, who's ever's in charge? Part of me thinks this. Not all of me, part of me. Part of me is kind of like, we should have a collapse, an economic collapse. We should have Mad Max at this point. Part of me, not all of me. Part of me is kind of like, okay, you want me gone? You don't want me here no more. You don't like me. Society doesn't like me. I'm a straight white man. You don't like me. Okay, well, who's ever orchestrating this behind the scenes? Can we make a deal? All right. I won't make a big fluff about it. I won't fight it. You can come and get me. I'm not going to hurt myself, but I'll let you guys take, just make it quick. Just make it quick. We're not going to do this whole 2020 thing again, 2021 thing again, but you guys want to go ahead and, make me fall asleep, I don't wake up, then we can make an agreement and we'll do that. Because you want to have a society of lesser people, that's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead. You don't like people, you want to get people that look like me off of the planet, okay. Then do it. Let's do it. A part of me is kind of like that. It just feels like I think a lot of people feel this. We're working really, really hard and we should have better than we have. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like the society is worth working hard for anymore. That's why you see 7 million men not working right now. Like, if a woman leaves a man, which usually happens nowadays, she has a ton of options. Usually she already has someone lined up. A man, it takes a lot of effort and work to, especially nowadays, to earn a woman's respect. So it's not like, so if she leaves him, he's kind of like, he's left with nothing. And I think this was the opposite in the old days. That's why we have all the divorce laws that favor women nowadays. They were created because it was the opposite in the old days. The divorce laws are unfair, this and that, for sure. Because men were leaving their women, But things have changed now, obviously. The groupies were the women. Now men are the groupies. You're even seeing like prominent figures bow down to prominent women figures. And like if I was a woman, like why do women have this? He has to make like you already make more than enough in your own life. Like why does he have to make as much? It doesn't make any sense. If you're making like millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and you require your man to make as much, it doesn't make any sense, and it's pretty much unrealistic because those same men don't want women like you, and they don't get that. Those same men want women who are feminine, and usually women who make a lot of money aren't, or they've done stuff on the internet that are very provocative to earn that. Could you imagine if imagine your mom being showing everything off? It's so like it's so opposite where we have so like this is the same thing. Like you always see this, right? Women are always doing this in there. They'll do this little they'll do how can I do this? It's like they do this. They like show themselves, they don't know what to do, and then they just kind of like turn around and show their butt. Every single time. And it's so old. It's so old. And they still do it. The female body is like a work of art, but like I'm looking at I like women who are dressed modest. I don't want to. It's like if I'm gonna work hard, like I don't want a woman that's been with a bunch of men. I mean, for me, my personal thing, since I've already had kids and I'm old, it's kind of like as long as you're not with somebody now. I've said this in my last video, but I don't. It's almost to this point right now where if you want to have a relationship with a woman, you have to accept that she's going to be in a relationship with other men on some type of level. She's going to be talking to other men. She's going to have some type of relationship. She's going to have backup plans. And it's like, I just don't feel like there's really any point anymore. Like, they demand us a certain way, but they don't even like meet those same standards. And why is that? Because there's more men than there is women. I guess that's it for this video. And yeah, and just I feel like I'm one of the only authentic people on here. And I think that's why I feel like I'm suppressed, because it's hard to market me. And that's the only way you can like really make a name for yourself is you have to, basically sell out. And I refuse to. I see people like that are prominent figures that they're not like way above me when it comes to being able to articulate themselves. They might be slightly better, but how did they get there? Somebody helped bring them up. Somebody like me, I feel like the system doesn't. I think the system's afraid of somebody like me. Because I try to just tell the truth. Yeah, I think that's it for this video.